Okay, so I know the video on the syllabus and the schedule was really long. There was a lot of stuff that just needed to be covered. But rest assured, the remaining videos for this week are going to be short and sweet. So we're going to start off this one talking about habits of the creative mind. You can see I'm on the Macmillan Learning Student Store site right now. That's the link that I shared in Blackboard in the announcement earlier. Or was it several days ago anyway. Um, this is what the book looks like. And if you still don't have yours, which is not a good thing, you might want to go ahead and get the ebook version of it so that you can get started. And it's actually, not very expensive overall, especially for a textbook. Um, so let's just talk a little bit about this book. So what you need to understand is that Habits of the Creative Mind is not a regular textbook. It's not going to be set up where you are going to go in and read a chapter about writing, say, a analytical essay, and then you're going to write an analytical essay, and then you're going to read another chapter about writing a review, and you'll have to write a review, and another chapter about writing a process essay, and you'll write a process essay. That's not how this book works. This book is set up to help you develop certain habits, to help you understand these habits. And these are not habits like we think of the habit of drinking a glass of water as soon as you wake up or something like that. These are habits of the mind. These are internal, intellectual habits that if you work on developing these, you will be better in thinking, which will lead to better writing. So the contents, we have orienting. That's what we'll be working on in this week, which is getting us kind of set up for the work of the semester, getting that foundation laid. And then before we go into beginning, we're going to leap all the way down here to speculating and read about argument as journey before we go back to beginning. And then we'll be working on the habit of beginning and the habit of paying attention, questioning, exploring, connecting, working deliberately, reflecting, persisting, organizing, speculating, and playing. You can see that each of these 12 chapters, each of these 12 habits has three selections. These are three essays. The essays range generally from 3 to 6 pages. I think there might be one that's a bit longer. I don't know that I have that one scheduled to read, not because it's longer, but because I don't think it fits as well with what we're doing in our class. But yeah, most of them you can count on being 3 to 6 pages. So they're short and sweet, and they're really readable, engaging essays. They're not, again, your typical textbook. They're not going to tell you that you have to follow this formula and produce this piece of work. They're going to give you things to think about, give you different ways of thinking, and give you some examples of how these particular authors, who are English instructors, have seen these habits play out in their own classes. So that is our main book. It isn't a super long book. It's pretty, a pretty small book. It's easy to throw into a bag or even, just kind of carry it around. Um, if you want to do your work at a park or something, it's not like a huge book that you have to drag around. It fits into a pocket pretty easily. Um, so that's our main text. The other thing that we have this semester is the Hayden McNeil information cycle. If you got your book at GRCC at the bookstore, it should have been packaged with the information cycle. If it wasn't packaged with the information cycle, you'll need to go back to the bookstore and tell them you need the Hayden McNeil um, information cycle. It's a code that you will have to use to come onto this Hayden McNeil site. Um, when we work with this next week, I will have the link to the site for you. Right now, I just want to show you what you'll need to do when we get to this part. You will need to, when you get the link, you'll follow the link. You'll come to Hayden McNeil, and then you're going to want to create an account. And once you have an account created, you'll be able to log in with the username and password that you've created. And then when you log in, you're going to see new user, existing user, my courses. I'm going to go here to my courses. And what you are looking for is this course. You, because you're a new user, you will need to select this course from a drop-down menu. Again, I don't want you to worry about that too much right now. So next week when we start looking at this, I will have all the instructions. They'll be demonstrated for you, written out, so that you know exactly how to get in here. And then once you get to our summer section class, you'll be able to look at what the information cycle is. And again, this will be something we're doing next week in week 2. So you'll have more information about that coming up. But this is just kind of an introduction to show you what you're going to be doing. So this diagram here, you can't see all of it, but you can see enough of it to really start thinking. This diagram here is what they call the information cycle. And it starts out with an event in its immediate time of happening. And we look at what is reported about that event at that time. And then we look hours later, what is being said and who is saying it. And then we go down to days later and what is being said and who is saying it and for what purposes, what audience. And we start to look, weeks and months and years and decades, so that how this, you can think of this as how information unfolds, how information develops around a certain event. We will be using this quite a bit in the first project and then returning back to it in our second project as we engage in our academic research. So you will want to make sure that you get this code and that you have it ready to start working with next week. And like with everything else, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know sooner rather than later so that we can get you all taken care of and not have you wandering, lost and alone and confused. Right? Told you it'd be short and sweet.